Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping right in today because we've got something super fascinating to unpack. We're going to systemically deconstruct three totally different pitches for financial advancement that we found in our sources. Think of it like a massive spectrum. On one end, we've got good old-fashioned face-to-face networking, and on the exact opposite end, highly automated, purely digital wealth systems. It is wild to see how different markets are pitching the exact same fundamental human desire, which is, financial progress. So why are we doing this? Well, understanding these strategies is absolutely crucial. It helps us protect our wallets, for sure, but it also helps us figure out our own deeper motivations. We get to see exactly how our basic human needs for security and freedom are essentially being commodified by modern marketing.
So here's our quick roadmap for the explainer. First, 3 paths to earning. Second, traditional careers and community. Third, the passive income dream. Fourth, building a system empire. And finally, which path fits you? All right, let's hit it. Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, 3 paths to earning. Moving right along into Section 2, traditional careers and community, where we look at the local community expo. First up, imagine a vibrant, community-focused gathering called the Summer Explosion. It's happening on Thursday, July 16th, 2026, and it's built entirely around this core idea of careers, community, connections. Now, what immediately jumps out here is that this is anchored to a very specific physical location, Chattanooga, Tennessee. To actually take part in this opportunity, you've got to physically show up between 2 and 7 p.m. This approach powerfully taps into a really fundamental piece of human psychology, our deep need for geographic roots and verifiable local trust. In a world that's getting more remote by the minute, there is still immense value placed on a tangible handshake, face-to-face interaction. Right from the start, we can contrast this with the kind of isolation you see in modern remote work. This traditional path absolutely demands your physical presence to validate your professional worth. And notice how this path heavily relies on your active local engagement. It is definitely not just some sterile job hunt. It's blending serious professional networking with real community elements. You've got an HR power panel discussion helping employers stay competitive, sitting right alongside a career and employer expo connecting people with top local businesses. But look at this juxtaposition. It's also literally a local festival. There's a live remote broadcast with Eagle 107.5 FM and Skywave Broadcasting, plus family fun, games, and music. It's a very intentional framing. It frames work not as this isolated transactional thing, but as a holistic, integrated part of community life and family identity. Your job search becomes a public, communal event rather than a private struggle behind a screen. That specific hook, something for everyone, man, it perfectly encapsulates the broad, localized, and highly active vibe of traditional job fairs. It's literally designed to get the whole family out to the event. You aren't just a lone worker bee here. You're a vital part of the Chattanooga community ecosystem. You're grabbing some local food, hanging out, listening to the radio broadcast, and building your career through direct human interaction. In this traditional model, your professional value is intrinsically tied to your physical proximity to others. This path inherently requires you to be a bit of an extrovert. It takes a dedicated time investment and, undeniably, physical presence. You have to show up, be seen, and interact. And honestly, this requirement of grounded physical effort sets up a really fascinating contrast for the next section of our spectrum. Which brings us to Section 3, the passive income dream, or, as it's often called, the laptop lifestyle. Now, talk about a night and day difference. Just think about the stark contrast between needing to physically show up at a local event versus the absolute geographic freedom of the laptop lifestyle. Our second source features this bright green sticky note slapped right on a pristine desk setup, and it simply says, work from anywhere. There's no 2 to 7 p.m. time slot here. There's no zip code you need to commute to. The pitch relies entirely on completely untethering you from a physical community to offer this boundless independence. The psychological pull of that little sticky note is massive. It's selling pure escapism just as much as it's selling a career. It's promising that all those annoying constraints of geography and daily commutes can just be bypassed entirely, swapping out local ties for total autonomy. And the absolute linchpin of this digital pitch? The scale of the promise. It's highlighted by this compounding earnings figure plastered right on the source's digital dashboard. We're talking about a screen displaying total all-time earnings of exactly $48,623.19, complete with a chart showing this crazy steep upward trajectory of over 1,000% growth. It breaks down income from all these digital sources, ebooks, music, designs, videos. But wait, think about why they use that hyper-specific number. Why $48,623.19 instead of just saying, hey, make 50 grand? It's a classic psychological trigger. Precision in marketing builds this incredibly powerful illusion of authenticity. Ask yourself, how does seeing that exact calculated number down to the penny make you feel? It makes the whole dream feel mathematically proven rather than just some pie-in-the-sky aspiration. So the marketing here pivots completely away from those community connections we saw back in Chattanooga, moving straight into a feeling of isolated freedom. The source is promoting passive income for affiliate marketers for beginners, and it leans heavily on these catchy perks: no inventory, no shipping, and be your own boss. They promise you can literally create once, earn forever, and builds an income that just keeps working while you sleep, completely wiping out the traditional physical overhead of running a business. But there are some massive trade-offs here that get conveniently glossed over. The pitch sells the removal of overhead, sure, but implicitly, it also removes that community safety net and the built-in networking we saw at the local expo. It's pitching complete solitary self-reliance, skillfully disguised as ultimate freedom. To make this incredibly appealing, especially to beginners, they distill this complex digital independence into 4 literal, super simple steps. Step 1, choose a niche you love. Step 2, create digital products like templates or software. Step 3, promote on platforms to reach buyers globally. And step 4, earn passive income. More sales, more freedom, right? Well, actually, this is an absolute masterclass in oversimplification. Just take step 3, promote. That single innocent-looking word completely masks what is often thousands of hours of grinding, mastering SEO, and endlessly chasing social media algorithms. The massive gap between the marketed simplicity of these 4 steps and the actual grueling labor required to pull it off, that's exactly why internalizing this explainer is so crucial. All right, moving into section 4, building a system empire. This is where things get really interesting with Silarium Life. This third pitch completely throws out the active networking of our first source, and it ditches the actual product creation of our second. Instead, it replaces them with a purely system-based wealth proposition. We're analyzing a marketing graphic for Solarium Life. The visual language here is all about massive upward momentum. Think gold arrows shooting into the sky, honeycomb patterns, and bold letters screaming at the viewer. Ready to build your empire? Contrast those grounded, down-to-earth words from our first source, like careers and community, with the grandiose language used here, like empire and multiply. It's night and day. This language reveals that they are going after a completely different demographic. They aren't looking for someone trying to find a steady job, and they definitely aren't looking for a creative type wanting to build digital products. They're targeting someone looking for a lottery-style return on capital. And this quote right here captures the ultimate marketing hook of our entire spectrum, demanding the absolute most minimal input for the maximum alleged output. It tells the viewer, the system is waiting for you. You don't need to shake hands at a career expo. You don't even need to write an ebook or design a template. You literally just need a $10 bill and the willingness to let an invisible mechanism take over. This introduces the psychological concept of the black box. In this pitch, the actual mechanics of how you earn money are deliberately hidden behind the vague, mysterious word system. Ambiguity isn't a mistake here, it's a feature. By keeping the details murky, the marketer allows the viewer to project their own hopes and desires onto the process without getting bogged down by the friction of, actual work. It's such a fascinating juxtaposition. It targets a completely different psychological desire than a local career expo. The local expo appealed to stability, tangible effort, and community belonging. The passive income pitch appealed to geographic freedom and entrepreneurial hustle. But this third pitch? It relies strictly on the allure of a mysterious system doing all the heavy lifting for you. The gap between a micro-investment of $10 and the monumental outcome of an empire is exactly what generates curiosity and clicks. We really have to sit with the psychological vulnerability this specific pitch targets. The sheer exhaustion of modern work leads a lot of people to a breaking point, right? A point where they genuinely hope that just a simple $10 bill and a faceless automated system will finally be the magic ticket to save them from the daily grind. And that brings us to section 5, which path fits you? It's time to talk about choosing your future. We've explored the complete spectrum of income generation marketing today. We've traced the lines all the way from shaking hands and eating local food in Tennessee over to trusting a $10 automated system in the cloud. It's a perfect cross-section of how differently the modern world approaches the whole concept of work. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to really help you evaluate which of these distinctly different philosophies truly aligns with your own career goals. When you think about your ideal financial future, what do you see? Are you looking for the tangible roots and the shared support of local connections? Are you seeking the isolated creative freedom of the digital nomad? Or are you drawn to the effortless multiplication of a leveraged system? Understanding what these pitches are actually selling, whether that's community, freedom, or effortless wealth, is the absolutely critical first step in deciding exactly where you want to invest your time, your money, and your energy. So, which one will it be?